Hi, Jack. Nice to see you again.
Yeah,
How are you doing?
I'm good.
I was thinking why you look so different earlier and just now from the show. It's the hair, right?
Yeah.
That's leading to a serious question. But what was your transformation like into Robin Hood? I mean, not just your physicality, but perhaps learning archery, being able to ride on horseback, stunts, and also the interior character, the fact that he has been through all this trauma. Where did you even begin?
Yeah, I mean, it was all sort of right there in front of me, if that makes sense. So, like, I was heading over to Serbia. I'd never been to Serbia before. I was going to be in -7-degree weather, which, being from Australia, is something I'm not used to. And, taking on all these skills that I'm not an archery background, I'm not a horse riding background, everything was just so new. So I really tried to just soak all that in. Which ended up being, it just, by the time it had gone through me, and after I'd, practiced for however long I practiced with the bow and arrow and the horse and stuff, it had kind of organically just, by the time we were shooting, it was in me by that point. And I had faith in everyone around me too. So yeah, I'd say, 3 weeks. So maybe I had 3 weeks for all that physical stuff, but no, it played a massive role in the transformation into Robin Hood for sure. Yeah.
And I guess what's so fascinating about this kind of more modern take on the story is we're not seeing the sort of hero that we've seen in other iterations. This is very much Rob as kind of a regular guy. He's just a regular guy in his 20s, dealing with what's going on around him. So is that also something quite exciting and a way into the character?
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely my anchor, if you will. I would go back just to the sentiment that, this is if I was feeling pressure or if I was, but it was definitely a big core, write that down, circle it moment of where he is just a guy. He is just a young 24-year-old who is trying to find his way in the world. And I think that's a credit to John and Jonathan and the world they've built. I think that's the case for a lot of our characters. They're not just that blanket archetype. Rob isn't that. The sheriff isn't that. Marion isn't that. They're people. And that was a huge, I was so stoked to be part of this. That extra element to things, adding that nuance to all the characters was so it made me so excited, so pumped, made me really believe in the project.
And I guess this chemistry as well between you and Lauren was so crucial because that kind of relationship is really what's anchoring the whole story. And from what everyone else is saying, it was instantaneous. So was it like that for you too?
Yeah, it really was. I met Lauren in the chemistry read, and as soon as, she came up, I was in the waiting room and she just came up and said, "Hey, I'm Lauren. I just want to introduce myself, And we became very fast friends. We saw eye to eye on the story, on the characters, their relationship. I think we see eye to eye in the world at large and our careers. She's a real friend for life. It was very seamless. I think I'm very lucky that was the case. So yeah, she's just an awesome Marion.